Hey, it's Whitney here, and today I have an apartment renovation for you guys. This apartment is in the Spice District in San Myshuno. I honestly think that we really do need some more apartments in different worlds. I think right now the only apartments we have is in San Myshuno, and also, what is that world that came with Eco Living? I can't think of the name of it, but I think those are the only apartments we have. I could be wrong, but at the top of my head right now, I think those are the only ones we have, and I honestly do think we need some more. Um, when it comes to the apartments, I've kind of like to dictate what style I'm going to do based on the district that it's in. In San Myshuno, they have the Spice District, I think it's the Art District, the Fashion District, and the Financial District. When it comes to the Spice District, I kind of think of the apartments here in this location as more lower income. This is where you'll see your single Sims who are just starting out and trying to make it on their own. You might see some single family households or like your elders who are looking for lower income because they are trying to retire. This apartment, the people who live in this apartment is an elderly woman and her daughter and grandson who are moving back in. If you look back a few videos ago, I did do a creative sim on this family. I do plan on creating a Let's Play series with this family, so this is what this apartment is for. I tried to make it seem like this apartment is definitely the elder grandma or the I guess she would be like the matriarch of the family. Like this is her apartment. It's been her apartment for a while. I feel like the feeling that I wanted to give is that she's lived in this apartment for a very long time because in my head in the story that I created she has lived in this apartment for a very long time. She was a single mother herself and she moved to San Myshuno to for I guess job opportunities I guess, and so she just stayed here in this apartment to raise her daughter Bria, and now her daughter Bria is also a single mom and is moving back in. There isn't a lot of room in this apartment. I think originally when you get this apartment, like the original apartment is already two bedrooms and one bathroom, and I don't think I changed out the layout of the apartment too much. I mean, I did change it a little bit, but I kind of like stuck to the original. And that's, I found that's kind of like one of my frustrations with the apartments in Sam I Shoot. Well, the apartments in The Sims 4 in general is the lack of ability to kind of like change things. Like, of course, we can change the inside, we can add walls or delete walls on the inside. And also, if I know this apartment has the balcony, and I think there's like one other apartment in San Martino that has the balcony, and you can change the walls on that balcony. But other than that, you can't really change anything. And for some reason, I do find apartment renovations a little bit more of a struggle than like building or like renovating houses. And I think it's because I am limited as to what I can and can't do. And I know there are like mods or cheats or whatever that are available to so that you can change things, but like you can change like you can use mods to change the windows, but I kind of choose not to do that because I don't know, I kind of like the idea of being a little bit more realistic when it comes to my renovations and like what you can and can't change. Also with like the apartments, like this is like I can't think of the building that this is in. I know it's 19 Culpeper House, and I think the other apartments in this building are also Culpeper House. But like, if I'm going to do a renovation for this apartment, like if I'm going to renovate all the other apartments, especially if it's in the same save file, I kind of like to make it more realistic. And how I do that is I kind of think about like this one building, or maybe the other building that's next to it is owned by the same landlord, and I don't know. I kind of think of it as a little bit unrealistic to like have completely different like wallpaper, different appliances, different like I don't know. In my head, I feel like this isn't the case with The Sims 4. Like usually in The Sims 4, you can just buy a house and all the furniture is already in there. But like realistically, if you buy an apartment in real life, you're not gonna have all your furniture. Like all your furniture you have to buy except for things like your counters or your refrigerator and stove. Like in most apartments, like those things come with the apartment. Also, like the toilet and the bathtub and the sink, those things come with the apartment. The lights, they come with the apartment. And so like those are things that I try to think about when I'm building. So like the overhead lights, I want them to look like, you can't just move them and place them anywhere you want to. The bathroom, of course you can change things like the shower curtain, but like if I'm going to do a renovation for one of the other apartments in the same building, probably going to use probably the same counters or the same toilet or like the same fridge. Just because I like that. Oh, I also, that's another thing you probably wouldn't change depending on, the landlord that you have. Like most likely they're not going to want you to change the paint, or fix the walls or change the carpeting or the flooring or whatever. Like pretty much like what you get in there is what you kind of like have to work around. And that's kind of like what I tried to do with this apartment, is kind of make it seem like have things that look like they've been there. And Angela, who is the grandmother, this is her apartment. Like she's just tried to like work around that. I did use a lot of the like scratches and the holes in the walls and stuff because like I said, I feel like Angela has lived here for a very long time. And in my head, like the landlord is okay, but they're not a great landlord. So the landlord isn't just gonna come and fix things when they're broken. The only time the landlord, I feel like in my head, the only time the landlord is gonna come and fix things is when or if Angela moves out. And I feel like Angela, she's very kind of like stubborn. Like to her, this is her home. Like this isn't just an apartment. And I feel like for a lot of people, when they think of renting up an apartment or living in an apartment, they kind of like have this idea that this is only temporary. This is only going to be for a short period of time, or it might just be until the end of their lease, and then they'll look for something else. But I feel like for someone like Angela, who is the grandmother of this family, like this is her home. Like she's not looking to live anywhere else. Like this is what she can afford. This is what fits into her budget. Like she's not looking to move anywhere else. So yeah, there's things that that came with this house that she can't really control or take away, but like she can add her own style. Like she had like I kind of like wanted to make that feel like this is a homey place. And like the sim that Angela is, like I feel like I think I mentioned this in the creative sim where she like hosts like Sunday dinners every week. She has like knitting clubs in her house. Like she invites her friends over, and I do plan on creating other like elderly sims for her to be friends with and for the let's play. And just in general, like I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like I want to do more with elders. I don't know why. So yeah, I do plan on creating like elderly friends, and you'll see them come over, and I kind of like want that the space to look like it's very homey. And also when it comes to her daughter Bria and her grandson Andre, who are moving in with her, I did want to kind of like include elements of like them kind of like bringing in some of their things into the space. But for the most part, this is Angela's space. So I don't know, maybe further down in the let's play we'll see the space change a little bit more. But for the but I think for the most part I pretty much kept all of not Angela, most of Bria and Andre's things in their room. If you've been watching any of my builds up to this point, you probably know that I really do love clutter. I love clutter on tables. I love clutter on the walls. I don't like a house that doesn't look like it's been lived in, and I definitely wanted this space to look like it's been lived in and it has history. I haven't played with this household, like it's a fresh new household, so usually if I did have a household that I've been playing with, I would fill it up with pictures that they've taken. But like I said, I haven't played with this household. I just created them and created a sim, and so I tried to like make the house look like it was lived in by using a lot of clutter. And I don't know, I never really thought that I would be using any of the kits, but lately I've kind of been drawn to them, so I used a lot. I think it was like the everyday clutter kit. I think that's pretty much the only one that I I mean, I think I have other clutter kits. I know, and I have the Desert Lux one that came for free, but I haven't really been bothered with the kits. But I have been drawn lately to kind of get the kits. As you can see now, I'm doing Bria in Andre's room, and I feel like in the past that this was Bria's room when she was a child, and now that she's moving back in with her mom, she's kind of like had to kind of like adapt. Like she doesn't have her own space, and Andre doesn't have his own space either, but they're kind of like sharing the space. Um, I haven't really seen anything like this before when it comes to like other people's builds or Sims YouTubers or anything like that. But I feel like with this build, I kind of like wanted to, what anything I build really, I kind of like to reflect reality a little bit more, even though this is a game. But like I feel like people tend to like when they're playing The Sims, they make these perfect worlds, and I feel like that's a good thing too, because I don't know, like not everyone wants to live out the actual real world in the game, especially when you can have like the perfect life in this game. But in actual reality, there are people who do have to share their rooms with their child, and you just have to make the best of the space. And I think I was able to do that. I feel like I said mentioned before, like the rest of the house, the rest of the house is Angela's space, and the bedroom is where you're able to see Andre and Bria's reality a little bit more. I feel like Bria, she definitely has a different style to her mom's. Like if she had her own space, I feel like she would definitely be more minimalistic. She would be a little bit more trendy with her style. Like I think her style would be more beige and like clean and modern aesthetic kind of. And I actually forgot up until this point, but I think there was a different apartment that I tried to do for this family, but I think I deleted it or I didn't finish it because I think that was a style that I was going for originally, but I didn't like it because it didn't make sense for the family. Like I think I did start off with like that clean polished aesthetic, but it didn't make sense for the Spice District. It didn't make sense for this family. Like it didn't like add up to me and my brain, so I completely like got rid of that apartment and then I started over and I got the apartment that we have now. This is Angela's room, and I don't know, I kind of like wanted to make it seem like I don't think she's vain, but I think I mentioned this in the creative sim, but she's definitely like that type of person who is done up. Like she definitely cares about her appearance, and like I mentioned in the creative sim, like she's very big when it comes to being a part of the community, and just being like socializing with her friends, socializing with the people around her. And so to her, like having like her appearance is really important. Like she's definitely the type, like she wants to have a clean room. Like she doesn't, like she's like, if you want to make a mess in your own room, that's fine, but like the living space has to be clean and polished. And like even her room, like she's not gonna let anyone in her room unless everything is in place. And I wanted to like, oh, and then I was able to use that little box thing, and I wish I kind of did play with them at the beginning. I don't even know what I'm gonna put in that little keepsake box, but I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be important when I get to the let's play. I don't know how it's gonna be important, but somehow it will be. um as you can see now, like I'm fixing the lights. Like I completely deleted the lights that I used to see, and I replaced them with like overhead lights. And another thing that I like I see more so in real life is the lack of overhead lights. The apartment that I live in now, we actually have a lot of overhead lights, but I have heard from other people that they don't really have a whole lot of overhead lights. Mostly in apartments, you have to bring in, your own lights. And another thing that I try to keep in mind when I was doing this build is like the furniture that you bring in. Like whenever I do apartment renovations or anything like that, I also keep in mind like how easily would it be to get this furniture in this apartment, because they're not in a high rise, but they are in an apartment building that has multiple levels. And in my mind, this apartment or the apartments in the Spice District, they don't really, the elevators probably don't work that well, so most of the time they're using the stairs, even though in the Sims they do use the elevators to get up to their rooms. But in my head, like they don't work that much. So I kind of like when I do apartments, I also think about that, like how realistic would it be to get this furniture in here. And also with this apartment, I wanted to make sure the furniture looked mismatched, because I feel like another thing that's more realistic is you're not going to have a super aesthetically pleasing apartment most of the time. Like in real life, your apartment, like your furniture in your apartment most likely doesn't match, because for most people who are living, like, they're not buying all of their furniture all at once. Like, some furniture is usually, sometimes it's given to you by other people, so you don't really get the opportunity to say, I don't like this, I don't want this. Of course you can, but most of the time, like, if you're moving and you need the furniture, you're just going to be grateful for whatever furniture people can give you. So I kind of like wanted to keep that in mind with this build, that maybe some of the furniture was brought, but it wasn't brought like all at once. Like, it was brought here and there into in different places, or it was given to them by other people. But I think that's it. We're coming to the end, so stick around to the end to see like the final thing put together. I really appreciate you for watching. And I really appreciate you if you really stuck to the end. Please don't forget to like this video and share it with someone that you think would appreciate it. I don't know if I put this on the gallery yet. I just learned how to put apartments on the gallery. So hopefully I will get it posted up on the gallery by the time it's posted. This video is posted. So be on the lookout for that. Sometimes it can be tricky to find apartments or any of my builds on the gallery. So I'll try to leave like information in the description below how to find it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.